You are listening to the USDN on the DFPN.
It's a trap!
What is up, everybody? It's the chairman of the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And tonight, we are doing it big, and we're going hard for Mike's Grace as he gets ready to release issue number 4 of Zip, his comic that is a little about disabilities, but it's a great and fantastic read. I will swear on that. It is a fantastic read. Mike, how are you doing? I know we had you on not that long ago, and you were still working through some stuff to get this book live, and now we're about to go live. How's that feeling?
It feels great, and thank you for saying that it's a great read. I just want to...
It is, dude. I really enjoyed this one. It was good.
Yeah, well, launch party! Wait, did I just kill the conversation by doing that?
Oh, it's good. I had asked, like, now that you've got through all the stuff and everything, like, how's it feel to finally be here, getting ready to launch this issue finally? I know it was a little bit of a struggle there as you were trying to figure out dates, but now we're here. You're releasing tomorrow on Kickstarter. How we feeling, man?
Yeah, dates are always tricky. I mean, I feel good, but, you know, I mean, it's my 4th Kickstarter, so really things are, you know, gonna go fine. But Kickstarter is always, there's so much to think about. And, you know, it's sort of like a kind of thing where the next month of my life is just going to be nothing but Kickstarter. And that can be a bit daunting.
It's 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people don't really understand that. It's 30 days to get the book funded, start to finish. And then after that, there's usually some type of, they have like reach goals. I don't know if are you doing reach goals on this one, or
I think you might be. So well, they are. So I think you might be, if you're talking about after the campaign ends.
Yeah. So if it ends early, and then there's certain other goals that you can.
Oh, okay. All right. So, see, I thought you were talking about late pledges for a second there.
There's late pledges as well.
All right. So no. So the campaign, if the campaign meets its goal, it doesn't technically end. It continues until the 30 days are up. But yeah, some people will do stretch goals where they will do a set of goals that you can unlock by going above the target goal. I generally don't tend to do stretch goals myself because if you actually look into Kickstarter's official advice, they advise against doing stretch goals. It's basically because stretch goals incur like additional costs. And essentially, like, I mean, if you've pledged to a Kickstarter that has made its goal, you're still going to get rewards and you're still going to support the project that's being funded. So it's, you know, I mean, you're just going to get the rewards that you've pledged for. I mean, if we went massively over the goal amount, I have had, you know, ideas about things we may do for that. But generally speaking, I haven't done stretch goals in the past, just because they can be a bit more logistically difficult to pull off than you might imagine. And I wouldn't want to let anyone down. So I try to keep things realistic as to what I can actually fulfill.
Gotcha. So real quick, let's go back to your beginning. I know we talked about this a little bit when we had you on last time, but just real quick, what got you into writing comics?
Well, I mean, a number of
What's
things
up,
really.
Kelvin?
So,
The
I've
one
got,
and only.
I've gone from. I mean, I've always been a writer ever since I was small. Like when I was very, very young, I would ask, how do you make a book? And my parents would explain it to me in terms of like binding a book. They didn't realize I was asking how you write one. I learned to, I learned that you could be creative for a living from my dad, who was working for a company called CMTV at the time. They were a studio who made a British TV show called The Trapdoor, and they did a few other things, but The Trapdoor is what people know them for the most.
Okay.
And he went from that studio to a few other studios, and eventually ended up working for Aardman Animations. He was a model reg technician for a long time. That is because it's stop motion and they're working with models. Anytime the model leaves the ground or has maybe like a position they're in where it's difficult to keep them balanced, they would need to build like a rig to hold the model up. And my dad was in charge of building those rigs. And the other thing
really cool.
was that you would have to try and hide them from the camera as much as possible, because the more you hide them from the camera, the less they have to take them out in post.
Yeah.
So he worked on Chicken Run. He worked on the Wallace and Gromit feature film. He worked on Pirates and Adventure Scientists.
Wallace and Gromit is probably hands down one of the best ones ever done. I still need to watch the new one. I know there's a new one. It was delayed a couple of years because they couldn't get the correct modeling clay during COVID.
Oh yeah.
So I know it's out now. I just need to sit down and watch it. But Wallace and Gromit's always been one of my favorite stop motions that's out. Period. Outside of this stuff, some of the other things, but Wallace and Gromit's money.
If you watch Curse of the Were-Rabbit and A Matter of Life and Death, you'll see my dad's name in the credits.
Curse of the Were-Rabbit's like probably one of my favorite Wallace and Gromits.
Right. Well, yeah. No, I actually did work experience on that myself.
That's really dope.
I'm not in the credits, but I shot some animatics on it. But yeah,
that's really cool, man.
Yeah. So my dad taught me that it was possible to do creative things for a living, and that's basically how I ended up, wanting to write things, and essentially just the natural progression followed from there, really.
That's really cool, dude. Kelvin, appreciate you, man. Kickstarter interviews are probably one of my favorite interviews to do. And the fact that we're getting to follow up with Mike the day before the release is something really special for me. And it's awesome that he asked to come back and kick this off the proper way and kind of bring something new, man. It's really dope. So do you have any characters or moment, or like, did you base any of your characters from Zip on real people that you knew or like seen on TV? Like, how did you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you kind of have to base your characters on something. So if you look at I mean, a lot of the moments in the comic are inspired by things that have really happened to me. Like if you look at in the second issue when Mr. Untouchable is talking as a child, talking to his like head teacher about his bullying and stuff, and the head teacher doesn't believe him. There's a moment where Mr. Untouchable says, "Will you look at me?" And I base that on the fact that a lot of times when I'm out with my partner or I'm out with somebody, and I mention that like I'm visually impaired, the moment they hear that, they'll start talking to the other person I'm with instead of me, as if I can't, as if I'm not intelligent enough to understand, what's going on. And so I wrote that in because you often find, like as a disabled person, that people will treat the person you're with as like a carer automatically, even if they're not, So that's one thing I kind of based that on real life experiences. But speaking about Mr. Untouchable, I mean, the premise of him is that he's a martial artist who's so good at martial arts that as long as he sees an attack coming, he can always evade or counter it. I kind of based that a little bit on a friend of mine who I used to do martial arts with, who wasn't very good at taking a punch, so he just got very, very good at avoiding them.
Hey, that's the best way to do it right there.
Yeah,
That is the best way.
He was like, I don't know, like some kind of like a pigeon or something. If you there's no way you can sneak up on them.
Hey, that you don't want to get punched. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So
ideally,
real quick, Mike, for new readers who are just now be discovering Zip, what's the quick elevator pitch for Zip? Sell it to everybody.
Zip is a comic about imperfect superhumans, or is it? Because there is an outside chance that it might secretly be about disability. So it uses superhumans as an analogy for disabilities. So it takes a look at like the human body and the delicate balance that allows the human body to function. And it's like when you take one thing and change it, that balance gets thrown out of whack, and that counts even when those things are superpowers. So our main character is Zip. She has super speed, but she also has super reflexes, because you need super reflexes to cope with it. And it means that the entire rest of the world is moving in slow motion from her perspective. So everybody else sounds like this, making it very difficult for her to have a conversation with anyone. She's also got an accelerated heart rate, which gives her the energy she would need to be super fast. And that essentially just means that her heart is working on borrowed time. She's got like a reduced lifespan. She's only going to live to around 50. And all kinds of things like that. And every superhuman in this world has complications based on their powers that kind of make their powers as much a disability as it is a power. It's kind of basically like if you've ever played that game with your friends where somebody suggests a superpower and then somebody else finds a way to mess it up. That's the game. That, but I'm sure. Yes, well, I made a comic out of that game.
So real quick, Kelvin asked, how have you been able to use your disability as a strength?
Well, I mean, I think that being like blind, and when I say blind, I mean most people don't realize that the majority of blind people have some vision. It's not every blind person is totally blind. We have, typically have some useful vision. The way I have found it is basically because I look at things differently. I can kind of see things visually and kind of come up with ideas that maybe other people wouldn't, just because I have to get closer to things to see them, to read and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I may kind of like, I mean, I'm not as susceptible to optical illusions as other people are, for one thing, because, I just don't, I'm looking at them closer and I don't, I'm not looking at them at the right distance to be caught out from the optical illusions. Oh, and the other thing is I don't have any irises. I have a condition called aniridia. So I was born with irises. I just have giant pupils, no color in my eye whatsoever.
Still wild.
Yeah. So essentially, I have like my vision is twice as bright as everyone else's. So I have better low light vision than anyone you've ever met. Just because
the man is seeing like a cat walking into a dark room.
Yeah, well, it's a very rare condition. So unless you've met someone else with aniridia that doesn't have any irises, some people with aniridia have small irises, but some left over. But I don't have any at all. So if you've met anyone else who doesn't have any irises, you probably haven't met anyone in your life.
I personally have not until I met you, good sir.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have met you and happy that you're here and sharing Zip with us. So, without spoilers, how does issues 1 through 3 set the stage for what's coming up next?
I think that at the moment, the arc we're on is kind of opening Zip up to other people. When we meet her in the comics, she is kind of very insulated in her own world. The reason being that the world wasn't designed for superhumans, and so she kind of has her own little safe space that she lives in, like a comfort space where everything is kind of, set up her way. She takes these jobs that she tries to muddle through because she needs money to live. But essentially, any other time she's out doing the superhero thing, because in this world, doing the superhero thing is what makes people with superpowers feel like they have a purpose. But as time goes on in the comic, she's finding herself kind of running into people and meeting people and kind of coming out of that comfort space and possibly finding that that there may not be, there may be a place for her outside of this comfort space as well. However, there are dangers to her leaving that, leaving her comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And they come in a very literal way in the form of Pinstripe and Dog's Body, the two mysterious lab technicians who have been stalking her, but possibly some metaphorical ways as well. Now, Zip is gaining something to lose, so time will tell if she loses it. I'll say that.
I enjoyed issue 4. Actually, I've enjoyed reading all 4. But
thank you.
So, what's something that readers often miss on the first read through that you wish they would have caught?
Oh, I don't really know. I mean, that's a good question. Actually, I did see a review. I did see a review that summarized the plot, and then they said something very interesting about what Pinstripe and Dog's Body were after. And I'm not sure if I can really mention it because it might give away spoilers. But basically, this review said,
"Let's not give spoilers."
Well, I'll say it because it's I don't think it will give away too much, but what I will say is that I read a review that said that Pinstripe and Dog's Body are looking for Zip because they want they are after her power. They're looking for Zip because they're after her power, and I sat there and go, they are they? I wonder if that is true.
We do see. We
Interesting
kind of see that
interpretation. Yeah. You do see that. Oh,
you do see that, yeah.
Do you though?
As good as I can.
That's as much as I'm going to say.
I have the E version. I have to zoom it in to like 125 to read script.
So you may see that, but it may be that I am leading you down the garden path. I don't know if you have that expression on in America, but that may be a bit of a misdirection.
Okay.
And
I like
maybe
it. I like it.
Misdirection. So pay attention and stay on your toes because that might be
like a good swerve in a comic.
A little red herring.
I do like a good swerve in a comic book. So let's continue on with this. So disability in fiction often falls into these harmful tropes. What are some of the key things that you didn't want to do in Zip?
Oh, with the disabilities.
Yeah, so you know how sometimes in television and comics, sometimes they fall into this like you were saying earlier, where people, instead of talking to you, they talk to your partner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what are some of the key things that you didn't want to do in Zip? Like some of the things that you kind of avoided because you didn't want that in your book.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there are a few. As a kid, I often noticed, whenever a disabled character would come up in a TV show or something, it was always a pity party, and that kind of annoyed me. There is something that a lot of I find a lot of fiction and TV shows and movies do with disabled characters. And it's funny because we've now unfortunately come to the part of the show where I am forced to praise The Big Bang Theory, because there was actually a funny bit that I had to give credit for. There was a bit.
Big Bang deserves it. All the credit in the world. That's one of my favorite shows.
Okay, well, fair enough. I know that it's not very popular these days, but there's one bit where Penny goes. There was one bit in the show where Penny goes, "Oh, she's got, like, I think she might have actually said the word handicapped. I think she said, oh, she's handicapped. She must be nice." And I thought that was really funny because there is often like this weird assumption that like disabled people just automatically just like angelic, can do no wrong, and that we're all just goody two shoes.
I've met a few rude ones.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but like it's just weird that I see that trope in a lot of movies and TV and stuff.
Penny, it's one of those like it's Penny being Penny.
Yeah, no, but I found
from the earlier seasons, Penny. Like in the later series, Penny was more mature and grown up. And
sure, yeah. I don't remember where it was, but I thought it was. I thought it was funny that they pointed out that was a trope because I haven't really seen anyone else point that out. That's
a good one, and it just happened to reference one of my all-time faves.
Okay, wow, okay. I mean that kind of thing, just like, and then there's also just sort of the ones where I was on another podcast talking about Daredevil recently, where kind of like sometimes they'll give a character a disability and then they won't really give them that disability. The character will just kind of have a disability as sort of like an almost aesthetic thing, but it won't really affect anything.
Yeah. Which Daredevil were you talking about?
Oh, the 2003 one.
Okay.
And I'm terrible at remembering actors' names.
Yeah, I'm more like current stuff. I haven't really dived back into any of the early 2000s stuff yet. However, I did just finish reading the Daredevil. Which one was it? Shite.
I am very out of the loop with mainstream Marvel stuff.
Yeah, and I'm brain farting it. But it was another one of those where Elektra picked up the mantle of the Daredevil because the real Daredevil he couldn't get out of his own way to be Daredevil, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the writer, the artist, everybody was just like spot on that one. But so you're still going. Marcosia is still your publisher.
Yep.
And how's the relationship with them and using Kickstarter to fund the comic? And so what's that relationship like? Because I know you're published by them, but in terms of like the Kickstarter and stuff like that, how does that work with them?
Yeah, I mean, Marcosia will help us to advertise the Kickstarters intermittently. I will send off maybe like a design, because now that we're published by them, previously our merchandise didn't really have their logo on it because it was before we were published by them, but now it is. Mm-hmm. So for continuity reasons, I've been adding the Marcosia logo to our merch. So I've needed to contact them just to make sure that they're okay with the way that I've used it. And essentially, I mean, I mostly handle everything myself. They will advertise when I send an important link their way. But once the comic's fulfilled and we get the backers their comic, I'll send it off to Marcosia. I do always make sure that our backers get their digital copy before I send it off to Marcosia, so they've got it first. And then Marcosia puts it on their various e-reader marketplaces, and we go from there. Okay. Eventually, we are building towards like a volume 1 trade paperback. But that's in the future. I don't exactly know how that's going to work just yet because we haven't done it.
Yeah. Okay. So for this one, what can fans expect in issue 4? I've read it. I know there's some cool twists coming, and some tone shift. I know we get introduced to some of the new superheroes that are kind of a part of this big superhero teams. I guess that you could say they were teams.
Well, I'd say it's more of a community, really.
Community.
Yeah. I mean, we learn about a bar, like a superhero bar.
Yeah, I really like that scene in that issue.
I sort of kind of wrote in the script that this place is a little bit like a gay bar, kind of tucked away, like a gay bar may have been, in like the 70s and things when, it was, illegal to be gay. And so, they were usually quite hidden away. But this is all part of the whole breaking Zip out of her comfort zone and having her meet people. So that's one aspect of the plot. Another aspect of the plot is like a time travel kind of.
That little section was really cool.
Oh yeah, well, the story with time travel is actually based upon the real life testimonies of an ex-con who served a life sentence for stabbing someone as a teenage boy. So all of the stuff that the character, all the stuff the characters talk about in the comic related to that is essentially like based on notes that I made from this news article I read about this ex-con. So it's all kind of like authentically kind of researched from what this ex-con was saying. Okay. And of course, Pinstripe and Dog's Body are back. They're the ones that spearhead the whole time travel science fiction aspect of the story. So you've got essentially three aspects: Pinstripe and Dog's Body, and them having kind of like a little bit of trouble in paradise, where Pinstripe feels like he's moving up in the world, and Dog's Body's getting fed up with him, and them going off and doing their time travel experiment. Zip breaking out of her comfort zone and finding a community in the superhero bar known as the Lair, and this teenage boy who's
I like that name. It's perfect. The Lair.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was quite pleased with that one. If I don't say so myself. Actually, the one I was really pleased with myself, I thought there would be, because obviously, like, how do all these superheroes know how to sew costumes, and how do they know how to do this and that? And so I was like, wouldn't it be funny if there were like a zine that they all circulated amongst themselves, and this is how they learn all this stuff.
They got their own Edna.
Yeah. The Incredibles had Edna in the sense that she was like a fashion designer, but they're all doing it at home with, but the way that they, distribute information on how to do all this stuff is through just like a zine, like a newsletter. And I called the zine in this world the Caped News Aider.
Oh, I like it.
I was really pleased with that one. I forgot. I think I was saying. Oh yeah. Well, I was just capping off to say, like, the third element of this story is Zip breaking out of her comfort zone and meeting this community.
I like it. I love a good pun on anything. So, given this is going to be your fourth Kickstarter that you're launching, how did you use lessons learned from the third one, from the first three, going into this fourth one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when it comes to our reward tier for getting your name into the comic, that can always be a bit of a tricky thing when we're doing fulfillment, because if we don't catch our letter Farron when he has some free time, it can actually take quite a while to get the whole thing fulfilled after the campaign's over. So I always try and make sure to get as much work completed with him before as possible, so that we can kind of try to breeze through that when the campaign's over. I am kind of debating maybe whether we should continue doing that reward. I mean, I'm doing it for this one. I'm not going to change things so close to
launch date.
So yeah, but I think I want to get people's opinion on this as to whether they really want it to continue or if they'd rather we be able
Kickstarter
to...
let you do a poll on it.
Yeah, well, and that might be something for us to talk about once the campaign's over, because if we talk about it while it's live, it's almost like kind of like, oh, that's poo-pooing our own reward, really.
Yeah,
but
you don't want to do that.
I mean, I love doing the reward. It's just that I do wonder about the fact that it does mean that we have to delay part of making the comic until the Kickstarter campaign's over, which does slow down fulfillment.
Yeah,
so,
especially when you got a penciler or a letterer that's busy in other work as well.
Yeah, so that could be something that we might need to think about going forward. But I've taken on your feedback actually from the last time we spoke. You mentioned that you'd be interested in a T-shirt, and
I've seen that, dude. I love that. Like the picture on the T-shirt, that was really dope.
That is Francesco Tomaselli's cover art for our 3rd issue, and that was really great. We put that on quite a lot of stuff because it was a really
she's a brilliant artist too.
Yeah, he is a brilliant artist. Yeah. No, Francesco is I think you may have heard Francesca, but no, Francesco.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's great. So I mean, basically you mentioned that you'd be interested in a T-shirt, and one of my personal friends said that they might be interested in a T-shirt. And I mean, I've never really had people coming to me with specific requests before. I always tend to be the one.
That's what I do. I just toss ideas out.
Yeah.
Some stick, some don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we've got the T-shirt, and because it's Kickstarter, we can kind of like ask people what sizes they want, and then print whatever sizes are in demand. So we don't have to like guess what sizes. Yeah. We don't have to guess what sizes people want.
It'd be kind of cool to take those to conventions with you as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a little bit of a shame, really, because we're doing a convention while the campaign's in progress, and we won't have the T-shirts ready for then. But hopefully, by the next convention we do, we'll have T-shirts, and we can actually wear them while we're at the store. Nice bit of advertisement for us.
That's why I rock my chairman T-shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't go out in public often, but when I do go out in public, I'm rocking a USDN chairman shirt.
Yeah.
Shout out to Khan's Custom Creations for the hookup. But see, let's remind everybody, the Kickstarter starts tomorrow, the 16th of September, everybody. The 16th. Add that to your calendars. Make yourself a note. I've added that link to the Kickstarter pre-launch, which will become the launch, under all my ads I've done for this interview tonight. So if you just go click on any of my social media posts, go down to the Kickstarter, create an account if you got to, and make sure you're backing this book, because it's a really, really good one to back.
Thank you.
But going on, Nets. So I think I asked you this last time, but like, what's your writing workflow like? Do you like to do your full script and then art, or do you like to collaborate all at the same time with your writer? You don't use colors, so but like not your writer, but your artist and your letterer and that kind of stuff, or you just write it out and send it off?
I mean, I write a script to begin with from start to finish, but then we'll send it off. We've got an editor who will typically give me a few little notes. We'll polish after that, and then we'll send it off to our artist. Oh, and we've also added a sensitivity reader now too, so there is that stage as well.
That was a question coming up, because that's how you want things to be right, and you want them to be proper when you're talking about disabilities and that kind of stuff. And you do have somebody that sensitivity checks all that now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know it sounds a little bit, some people may have an adverse reaction to it, but essentially, I mean, I'm only one disabled person, so I can't speak for everybody. So I think that just having another perspective is a good thing to have, and I think it's really helped the quality of this issue a lot. So yeah, from this point, I'll do my script, send it off to the sensitivity reader, then we'll get the editor in. Then it'll go to San. San typically is just very, very accommodating. Doesn't really make any changes. I mean,
great artist too, man.
Well, of course.
In black and white. So for those who haven't read or checked it out, it is 100% black, gray, white scale. Beautiful OG style comic, which I really absolutely love. That there is no color whatsoever. All the tones and the blends and everything like that are done through the art, and it's very hard to do, but San pulls it off amazingly.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the original Mirage Comics Ninja Turtles run,
perfect choice right there.
Yeah, well, they were always in black and white, and also there's just sort of like a tradition in British comics of black and white comics as well. 2000 AD and all that. So I just thought, it seemed right, especially with how good San's art style is in black and white. I mean, I did consider getting color, but San's art style just looks so good in black and white. In some of these issues, there are these like little introspective moments that really look great in black and white, and the black and white makes them feel more introspective.
No, I really like it. And you brought up 2000 AD. I have a couple of issues sitting in one of my short boxes down in my storage. And I never realized they were British. I just enjoyed them because I love the scientific, sci-fi, that kind of stuff has always been phenomenal. But no, that's really cool. I didn't know that they were British. So,
to this moment, or
no, I have a couple. Like I said, I have a couple of 2000 AD comic books.
Oh no, 2000 AD is the British comic book. Like if you ask,
I had no idea. Like it was British.
No, it's very much is. Yeah. Well, I mean, like Judge Dredd was written as like how a British person views America. When you like look at how it is, too. It's where you kind of it's kind of a big parody of American culture, because it's all about cops who have just like the right to just do anything they want, where they could just go up and shoot someone and decide that they're going to execute someone. Ones. Well, yeah, but I mean, you can understand though when you're looking at what happens in the US from outside.
Yeah,
you could have an idea like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can see that. But
it's that. Yeah.
Let's not dive too deep into that. I don't want to,
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to explain what the inspiration for it was, because you can kind of see how someone looking outside.
Yeah, I can 100% see that. Yeah. Especially given everything. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see. So I know. So this is your fourth issue you've written of Zip. Have you had like just a scene that was like emotionally difficult, or just kind of was like, do I really want to write this like this, or anything like that? Because I can't remember anything that kind of just jumped out and just said, "Ooh," like, But
well, I mean, if you look at the first issue, that obviously there's
that was the one issue I was thinking that might have had like a scene that was kind of like a little emotional,
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole idea of Zip going to train tracks to kill herself. I mean, I live near a set of train tracks, and there have been periods of my life where every morning when I went to work, I would cross the bridge and look at the train tracks and think, actually, maybe I'd rather just sneak onto those instead of going to work today and just kind of lie down.
We are very happy that you never made that choice, bud.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that decision, that story beat came from.
Okay.
Especially, explicitly being train tracks as well. Well, you did ask.
You are correct. I did ask. So real quick, we're going to jump into a real quick lightning round, and we'll go favorite British comic of all time.
Oh, that would have to be Fleetway's Sonic the Comic. So
The one that inspired Zip.
It did. I mean, that was the comic that I read.
I remember.
That was my first comic. And it was essentially, for some reasons, Sega decided to commission a comic book in the UK as well as in the US. And the UK writers over here just decided to go completely wild with it. And I mean, they did at the time, they really only had some Mega Drive games to go on that didn't really have, they didn't have voice cutscenes. So there wasn't, like a huge wealth of, explicit story to go on. And so, but even still, they kind of just made it their own and really, I mean, in that comic, the transformation that Sonic goes through when he gets all the Chaos Emeralds, Super Sonic, is not just a power boost. It's this crazy wild card that Sonic becomes when he gets too stressed or if he gets exposed to chaos radiation. And he essentially just becomes this unstoppable demon who has powers very similar to Superman, but he is not... he just wants to destroy everything. He wants to kill and destroy everything. And the only way that
those moments, we all do.
And the only way that you can survive him is basically he loves to toy with his victims before he finishes them. So you can only hope to stall him until he turns back into regular Sonic.
He goes from Sonic the Hedgehog to Art the Clown.
Yeah, pretty much. And because this character can come out at any moment, he comes out when Sonic becomes his most stressed. So typically, whenever they had a story where the stakes were really high, Super Sonic always had a chance of coming out and making the story's stakes even higher. It was great.
Love it, dude. And Sonic the Hedgehog, so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, the British comics is quite different to a lot of the interpretations you might have heard. Sonic in that is kind of an ass. Well, he's a brave person that fights evil, but he's also not he's not particularly polite about it. Basically, Nigel Kitching, the writer, his ethos was that just because you're like a brave, confident person does not necessarily mean that you're particularly nice. You know, if you think about all of the popular people you've ever met in your life, they're not necessarily, the most agreeable people.
Yeah.
And so, he typically does berate his friends for, not being as hot shit as he is. And, he's very kind of oh, whatever, I'm the best and everything. He's very, very vain. And, but he is the one who's, skilled enough in a lot of cases to fight, the tyrants and things. So he gets the job done, but he doesn't necessarily do it in a way that you're gonna, be happy with him for dealing with you afterwards.
Yeah. All right, next one up: most underrated disabled character in fiction.
Oh my God, there was this. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there was a cartoon in the 90s that was an offshoot of Ghostbusters called The Extreme Ghostbusters. And one of the characters in that was in a wheelchair, but they were kind of like a daredevil, like a thrill seeker. Not the Marvel
I remember.
Yeah. And it's interesting to go back and watch that show because I completely forgot that character was even in a wheelchair. That they were like a complete character unto themselves.
Good reference. We got a good friend, Rob. He's all about the Ghostbusters, man. He loves some Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I guarantee he would know their name and everything.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Next one up. What's on your playlist when you write? Or do you like it quiet?
Well, for this issue, a lot of time travel type stuff. So like Huey Lewis and the News, Back to the Future soundtrack. And
that's a great soundtrack. The original one?
Yeah, well, I mean, all of them, really. I'm kind of a defender of the third movie, to be honest with you.
I'm a huge fan of the 80s, man. The 80s rock from when Back to the Future came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the third one was early 90s at that point, though, wasn't it?
It was,
There was
yeah.
a long gap between the first one and the second one.
Mhm.
But, like, yeah, the original score by Alistair Silvestri, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
And you know, just the popular music that was in the movies as well, like ZZ Top's Double Back, you know, Back in Time by Huey Lewis, and obviously The Power of Love, you know, Michael Jackson, all that kind of stuff.
I like it. All right, so if Zip becomes a TV series, who gets to play Zip, and why is it not me?
Why is it not? I mean, you can try it if you want. Hey, let's get the comic open. Read a few lines. Let's see your audition.
I don't think Zip was bearded, but hey, we can make an exception.
I mean, if it's animated, you can get away with it.
That is my back hurts right now. It'd be me playing Zip with a walker.
Well, I mean, like, if, say, for example, if it was an animated show or just who would you? I'm just interested to know now. Who would you want to play yourself?
Who would play me?
Well, who would you want to play if you had a chance to?
Either I would go Timothy Oliphant, or what's his name? The dude that plays opposite him, and what's that TV series? Shit, I can't even think of it. But the guy who's in Fallout, who plays the guy with no nose. I'm brain farting today. Muscle relaxers are getting me, man. Oh yeah, Walter Coggins, I think is his name. I can see one of those two guys playing me.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you asked me this question last time, and I really should have gone away and thought about it. But I would say that
That's why you don't get time to think about it. You just first thing that pops in your head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that although I don't have any names in mind for Zip herself, I would cast Dog's Body as Timothy Spall.
Okay.
Do you remember Timothy Spall?
I think I know who you're talking about.
He was, I mean, I think the character that most people are going to know him for is Peter Pettigrew from the Harry Potter films. But he has been a lot, you know, you'd know him from a lot more if you really watched like British TV and movies. I mean, he was the. Have you ever seen any Red Dwarf?
I don't have BritBox. I thought about it because I like to watch the original British Office.
Okay. Have you ever seen any Red Dwarf?
I have not. No.
I really recommend Red Dwarf. It's a great show.
I'll track it down.
So imagine if, like, so the premise of Red Dwarf is take the Starship Enterprise and imagine if, like, everyone on the crew got wiped out, just killed, except a bunch of hatless red shirts. And they're just like a bunch of space lobs.
Well, red shirts are only there to die.
Yes, but these guys are like they're just the rank and file. They're the lowest rank on the ship, and
they're the plebes.
Yeah, and they're just there's one guy who wants to aspires to rise in ranks, but he's kind of just inept at everything. And there's another guy who's just there to make a little living, but he's just a massive slob. And due to shenanigans, basically, they end up getting frozen in time for 3 million years.
Oh, nice.
And they're just like lost in space, drifting around, trying to find their way back home. But yeah, it's like, imagine if everyone on the Starship Enterprise died except for some hapless slobs. It's really funny. But I was going to say that Timothy Spall. Timothy Spall is in Red Dwarf. And the thing that I know him from is him doing a really thick Birmingham accent going, "It's a blatant clue, isn't it?" But that means nothing to you if you haven't seen the show.
It doesn't. I'm going to have to track it down and give it a watch.
I really recommend Red Dwarf. It's one of my favorite.
You got to catch like some of those hot moments from the show.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that one out. All right, we're gonna bring it home, man. All right, Mike, where can everybody find you and your work?
So the website for Zip is zipcomic.co.uk. Obviously, the Kickstarter is linked by the United States Department of Nerds. I mean, I've got a bunch of short links for the Kickstarter. So if you're viewing this on Facebook, you could, for example, type kface.zipcomic.uk and you'll get the Kickstarter come up for that. But yeah, check us out on Kickstarter. I believe that if you put Zip Kickstarter in Google, we're actually
if you just Google Kickstarter, go to Kickstarter, you type in Zip under the comic book category. I think it's like the first one that pops up.
Yeah, we often do have pretty good SEO in that department, which I do work quite hard on.
I have the Kickstarter linked underneath all my social media that I did for you coming on. So multitudes of ways for people to find you. You're on Threads, you're on Instagram, Facebook, and I swear if you just go to all of them and type in Zip comic book, you're gonna find him. You cannot miss it.
The easiest way is to go to our website. It links to all of our socials. So it's zipcomic.co.uk.
There you go. Cannot miss it. And reminder, it goes live tomorrow, the 16th of September. Before I let you go, and before we close it out officially, I'm going to give you this sentence again, Mike. Zip is the kind of comic that...
Zip is the kind of comic that you should pledge to tomorrow when it goes live at 6 p.m. British Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Love it. That is the best answer, dude. That seals it. That was perfect. Huge thanks to you, Mike, for coming back through and talking to us once again about Zip. And again, it goes live tomorrow. And if you're listening to this, go read issues 1 through 3. You can find them on Amazon or Drive Through Comics. And again, don't miss the launch tomorrow on Kickstarter. It will be phenomenal. And this issue will be live next Wednesday, wherever you find your podcast. And it will still be during the show. So everybody who listens next week will get another reminder that this is still live. It'll be live for the next 30 days. So it will go until October 16th will be the closeout of this Kickstarter. It is a fantastic read. I cannot encourage you enough to get out there and support Mike, support the comic book, support the Zip. And that's all I got for Mike. Coming up for me, I have, let's see who I got coming up. Let me go to my email. Let's see here. I have Ben Lacey coming up on the 20th with Shark of War number 9, followed by I have Ethan Coogan and Jessica Silvetti coming up with Shock-Headed Peter on the 24th. So I'll be quit turning shows that week. It has been a fantastic month of interviews. I love it. I can't wait for it. I'm telling you right now, keep them coming. I love talking to everybody with Kickstarters and just about their work in general. So Mike, once again, you, sir, in Zip Comic is USDN approved. And with that, everybody, enjoy and see you on the next one.
See ya.